Hey there, podcast listeners. Are you ready to take your game day to the next level? I'm excited to announce that I've partnered with SeatGeek as their newest brand ambassador. That's right, I'm officially royally quacking about this awesome collaboration. SeatGeek is your go-to platform for finding the best deals on your tickets to all your favorite events. From concerts to sports, they've got you covered. And as a special thank you to my listeners, use code Royally Quacked. That's right, you can use it in all caps, Royally Quacked, for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. So what are you waiting for? Grab your friends, score some awesome tickets, and go make some unforgettable memories together. Thank you for SeatGeek for making it happen.
Hello, everyone. We have an unfortunate update to share today. During our last recording session, we encountered technical issues and lost part of the audio featuring our incredible guest, Eric Rodriguez. The good news is that Eric has agreed to return next week to redo our division standings predictions. We appreciate your continued support, and we will retain all the Ducks and Kings news and preseason recaps in this episode.
Welcome back, Kings and Ducks fans. Today we're going to start the podcast with a little story. 32 years ago, I was watching this awesome episode of Star Trek Next Generation. Yes, I don't want to hear anything about me being a Trekkie. I am a Trekkie. Well, I kept hearing, hey, it's time. It's time. And finally I kind of took my side away from the TV, and my wife was having a baby boy, and his name is Cody. You guys better know him as the Quacky Boy. Happy birthday, son.
Thank you, Dad.
Happy birthday to
Oh, God.
you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cody. Happy birthday to you. Woo-hoo!
I did not know this was happening.
Happy birthday, son.
Hi.
Okay, welcome back to Royally Quacked, where I'm royally and he's quacked. Today, we are blessed to have a special guest. You've heard me mention his name many times on our podcast. We have Eric Rodriguez. Wait, you're actually in LA, but he's from Arizona. Welcome, Eric.
That's right. Thanks, Gary, for having me, man. It's awesome to be in your guys' presence again. It's been a lot of years since we were on the field together, and I was really super excited to get your guys' invite to your guys' podcast. So happy birthday, Cody. I remember when you were just a wee young kid and learning how to call balls and strikes, man. So we've come a long way now that you have a podcast. So congrats on your 49th birthday.
40. Trust me, my knees and back feel that old. Oh, that was funny.
Every morning.
Anyways, now you know why
awesome.
I said what I said. I usually start off with the Royally Quack pretty quick, but I had that planned in advance.
I did not know that was coming.
And I didn't want to say it to you.
No, I was shocked. I'm like, that's definitely does not sound like Eric singing.
Well, I don't sing very well, so I had Mom come in to drown me out.
Well, that definitely helped. I would have had to mute that part.
Well, we gonna start off with Duck News, Cody?
Yeah, we can start off with Ducks News. And Eric, like I said, you're a fellow Ducks fan. Feel free to chime in if you have any thoughts about any of the moves or news that just happened in the Ducks world. So, first bit of news is here's the list of players that the Ducks have assigned to the San Diego Gulls. And it's a long list. It's pretty much going to be the Gulls, most of the Gulls players for the roster this year. Starting off, we have Judd Caulfield, Ruslan Gazizov, Dylan Hetherington, Tyson Hines, Travis Howe, Josh Lapina, Nico Majadovic, Roland McCowan, Sasha Pasajov, Colson Petrie, Konnor Smith, and to add on Konnor Smith, congrats, he is now the captain of his juniors team. I believe he's on the Owen Sound Attack. I believe. I think I have it right here somewhere. Yeah, the Owen Sound Attack. So congrats to Konnor Smith. I liked him in the preseason because he was the big boy fighting everyone. On to the next one, we have Jackson Weeb, Vladislav Batayets, Ryan Carpenter, Rodwin Denicio, Pavel Regenda, Noah Warren, Drew Hellison, Jan Misak, Igor Sidorov, and Carson Meyer, who he did pass through waivers, so that's why he's on the goals. Sam Colangelo, Nathan Goche, and Nikita Nestorenko. All of those players were officially cut from the Ducks and assigned to the AHL to play for the goals. And Beckett Seneca, who did make his Ducks debut and looked really well, if I might add, actually. He is got assigned to his junior team, which I'm not shocked about.
Oh my God.
And the only other player, let's see, a player that was placed on waivers with intent to go to San Diego is Jansen Harkins. I don't know if he's cleared yet or not. And then as of Saturday afternoon. And then the players that were released from their professional tryouts were Gustav Lindstrom and Mark Pissick. They were released, so now they have no team right now. Next bit of news is Kent French is moving on from, I believe, the Ducks and the Angels broadcast team, which is really sad to hear because I loved watching Kent French and Guy Hebert all the time for the Ducks. I believe him and his family are going to be traveling around the world and doing like interviews with other people.
Other people.
Like people around the world. I guess they talked about it, but like I said, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think we lost Eric.
Well, he'll come back.
Okay. And then, I'll just keep going and hopefully we can get Eric back. Just bear with us. We're having technical issues. And then the Ducks have a new jersey sponsor for their away uniforms. It is the Visit Anaheim logo. Oh, there he is.
Hey,
You're back.
welcome back, Eric.
Hey, what's happening, guys? Gotta love technology these days.
Yeah,
well,
no, you're
it's
fine.
okay.
You didn't miss much.
Well, the interesting thing that kind of totally caught me off guard was your ability to say these names that I've struggled with year over. Kind of blew through that list. So
Yeah, he just can't speak the rest of the English language if you haven't heard the podcast.
I can only speak sarcasm and hockey names, apparently.
English
language is my worst subject.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Plus, I've heard these names numerous times too.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, when you're going through Ducks news, I was super excited about seeing Seneca play. He looks very promising for our future.
Yes.
Lined up with a bruiser like Konnor Smith, who's just had a lot of, his physicality was nice to see on the ice. So those types of things are very promising for a Ducks future. Obviously, last year was kind of a tough season for sure, and definitely didn't meet expectations. But these two guys are definitely guys that I think will be a part of this future.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the Beckett Seneca shootout goal. Oh my God, that was.
I had to listen to it. It was incredible.
Vejmelka just got undressed. Let's just put it that way.
He's still looking for his underwear.
Oh yeah, he had no idea where he was at after that.
Yeah, he's going to be a fun guy to watch. That's for sure.
No, I agree. But I'm just glad to know that Beckett Seneca was healthy enough to be able to make his preseason debut. He made mistakes, but I mean, what rookie in his first, NHL preseason game ever isn't going to make mistakes. But you could tell like his vision and everything like that was just real. I could see like, okay, he sees an open guy. He just now needs to finish that play. Like I
Right.
said, you could tell like he has the ability. He just needs to be polished more. So like I said, I think another year with the Oshawa Generals, I think will be perfect for him.
And I think he's got some improvements in the skating side of things too that he probably can work on. But he definitely showed vision like you had called out. I think that's definitely promising. He's got vision forward and getting the puck to the right people. But yeah, another year down there, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him at some point this season if things progress well. He's got momentum on his side. He ended his before the draft, he was on fire. So this all makes sense.
I mean, at least like his skating is something that's coachable, something he could work on. That's a lot easier to teach a player to get better at.
That's right.
The thing is, guys, if you really think about it, a guy who was expected to go at the earliest was 9th, went 3rd. There's got to be a reason why, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they see the potential, and now it's up to him to go out and work hard and start to have that potential come out in him. I have no doubt he probably will.
Yeah.
So, was that all of Duck News, Cody?
That was all of Ducks news. So we can move on to Kings news now.
So one thing I wanted to talk about too, and my first bullet point on that was check out the Quentin Byfield interview on 32 Thoughts. For the first time, and this isn't in my notes, for the first time he talked about he had to have his tonsils out on the off season and how sick it had made him over the last 2 or 3 years. Some of the reasons he missed games, why he didn't score a goal in 20 games last year. Because of it was this, and he'd lose a lot of weight when it happened. But he talked about it, said it's now corrected. And if when we talk about the 5th game of the preseason that they played on Thursday, wow, wow. But I'm going to leave that for a little bit later on the podcast. So now I'm going to go to these are all the guys who were up with the big club that got waived. They passed waivers, and now they're going to be on the Ontario Reign. Jacob Moverari, Jeff Malott, Riley Walsh, Tyler Madden, Joe Hicketts, Lynn Godden. All cleared waivers and are assigned to the Ontario Reign.
Why do you always give him ones, Cody? Those were all easy names.
That's because he's only pronouncing the names he knows.
Gotcha.
You guys are going to get yours, that's for sure. On to great news. Drew Doughty did have successful ankle surgery, and as stated before, he's going to be month to month. Wouldn't expect him back probably maybe late December at the earliest. And it's just another reminder to listen to Kings games on the ESPN LA app. Every game is on the ESPN LA app. Some games are on 710. That's for the local people, the ESPN 710 radio out here in California. And that's Kings news.
Perfect. I know. I was trying to.
That Doughty loss, I think, is going to be tough, man. That's a couple of months, and I mean, you said December. I was hearing even possibly middle of the season. So that's
a possibility. But the
surgery
was
right that the team needs, and to have him down is unfortunate for sure.
Well, the nice thing is when tragedy happens, opportunities also come. This is an opportunity for guys like Mikey Anderson to take that leadership role. And he's been a stalwart partner to Drew Doughty. Not to mention just him, but Jordan Spence and Brant Clark. They're going to get more responsibility. So it's going to be exciting to see what the Kings do. We lost Eric again, I think.
Yeah.
um, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this the next part of this season. So
Yeah.
when I guess we should move on to league news.
Yeah. We'll go to league news. Hopefully we'll get Eric back in a sec. So first bit of league news is probably the biggest league news to be honest, is the Jeremy Swayman controversy. Jeremy Swayman's agent Louis Gross had this to say about the Bruins president Cam Neely's statement regarding a false contract offer. In quote, normally I do not release statements or discuss negotiations through the media. However, in this case, I feel I need to defend my client. At today's press conference, the 64 million was referenced. This was the first time that number has been discussed in our negotiations. And then prior to the press conference, no offer was made reaching that level. We are extremely disappointed. This was not fair to Jeremy. We will take a few days to discuss where we go from here.
And that's a big blow
Yeah.
for the Bruins, because they've been able to retool
Really well.
with losing the players they've lost, and very highly competitive with that. But Swayman was a big part of that, and without him,
sure, it opened up the opportunity to move Allmark too, right, to Ottawa, which was kind of interesting that they did that before having anybody in play. Yeah.
Well, it's really tough to spend big money on two goalies in present day NHL. A lot of teams are doing like the Kings. They're 6 million for the two goalies. There's some guys they're spending $10 million on one guy, and they were both these guys are going to be putting them $10-12 million on the salary cap, and you just can't do that and be competitive everywhere else. So teams are having to be selective of what they do, because it's definitely a hard cap. It's not like baseball where you get a tax if you go over. You just can't go over.
Yeah.
So
I just thought it was interesting that Neely would basically have Swayman in this kind of middle ground where we're not sure if he's committing or not, and then letting Allmark, who's Vezina. I think he won the Vezina, didn't he, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And just letting him walk out, and now they're struggling in the net for sure.
Yeah, now they got Corpusalo.
That's right.
As their number one as of right now.
Yeah,
and like I said, I have nothing against Jeremy Swayman. I do think he's a great goalie. This is just my honest opinion. I don't think he's worth that 8 to 10 yet. That's what I'm saying, yet, because he's only really ever been a 1A 1B kind of goalie. And I'm sorry, but if you want to get paid that, I got to see that you can show me that you're a number one guy, not just a 1A 1B.
Got to be like a Tashurkin.
Yeah, Tashurkin, like
Vasilevsky,
Hellebuck,
yeah.
Sorokin. I know Sorokin had a bad year, but like he's proven before.
Yeah, even Bob down in Florida has proven to be a worthy candidate for that kind of money. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting standoff for sure with that team, because Boston really is going to be impacted in net for the early part of the year, since he probably wouldn't be ready to just plug in either. So he's going to need a month or so to get physically ready for sure.
I'm pretty sure he's already been practicing on his own, but nothing is still like what you're saying, Eric. It's getting the real life.
It's the game shape. It's not in shape. It's getting game shape.
Yeah,
getting used to everything again. I mean, because these guys, they're pretty much in shape all year round now.
Yeah.
So let's get back to league news real quick. Montreal's defender David Reinbacher has undergone left knee surgery and is out 5 to 6 weeks. And we've had a rash of injuries in this preseason. which, Cody, you can take the next one if you like.
Well, I mean, let's just say this is not a good week for Montreal either. But Montreal's forward Patrick Laine has been ruled out for 2 to 3 months, but luckily he will not require surgery. See, I can't even speak the English language, Eric, so
You're
I
Russian.
can say names, but what's up?
You're right.
Yeah. But Laine was injured on a knee-to-knee hit by the Leafs defenseman Cedric Pierre on last Saturday night.
Wow.
Just what a hard blow to lose a top, one of your best defensive prospects, and then someone that you just brought in via trade.
Well, there's some other things like Panarin's hurt. I heard Celebrini got hurt. I'm not how serious.
I think he was day to day, more day to day. I didn't hear about the Panarin injury.
Yeah, Panarin got hurt. There's been a rash of injuries. I mean, maybe not all serious, like with Laine or Doughty, or Reinbacher. But they've had a rash of injuries. But also it seems like the teams are, wanting to play a little tougher hockey again.
Yeah.
So
I hope that this doesn't take the league down the same path like the NFL is doing, or even the MLB, where you're sitting guys out for most of the preseason or practically all the preseason in some instances, and then they come in and then they're just not game shape ready, like you were mentioning, Gary. Like that physicality and that part of the game is vital to keep these guys safe and keep them working at a high level. And so them missing the preseason, I mean, we've seen it in different leagues. It's impactful. So I hope that the NHL doesn't take that on.
Well, the CBA, as it currently stands, states that they have to have 8 players of some kind of quality. I don't know what that means. Either they're NHL players, they're a first-round pick, like Beckett Seneca would be playing in that one game. He qualified for one of those 8 players. They have to have somebody because people are paying money to come watch the games, and the NHL does not want to disappoint their fans. And that's saying so much more than just about any other sport.
Sure.
Not to mention that the top paid guy would be a bench warmer in the NBA money-wise. If maybe a guy who doesn't even play.
That is very true, right?
So,
all right. Last bit of league news. The Flames have signed defenseman Tyson Barrie to a 1-year contract worth $1.25 million. So I think that was a good little signing for them. Nice person to have them run their power play as the quarterback. He's always been a pretty good power play quarterback. I know with Nashville, he played with Edmonton. Oh, he played somewhere else, I think, too. I just can't remember the top of my head.
Was it St. Louis? St. Louis?
I don't know. I don't think he played for St. Louis.
But for $1.25 million, honestly, I mean, that's just above the minimum.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he'll be probably a P2 guy, for sure. But the Calgary's obviously in a rebuild, and they've got a lot to do over there. So just adding good talent helps. I mean, their signing of Mantha was good. So I mean, they're rebuilding. So adding these guys is helpful.
Yeah.
Not expecting much out of this year.
Yeah. All right. You want to go over the last preseason games now?
Sure. You want
to start with the Ducks Kings game, or do you want to end with it?
Oh, you mean on 9:30?
Yeah.
We could end with that.
Okay. All right. I'll talk about the Ducks versus Utah game. So on October 2nd, the Ducks hosted the Utah Hockey Club. The Ducks won the game 5-2. The shots on goal was Utah with 37 and the Ducks with 32. The Ducks started the scoring in the first period with a power play goal from Alex Killorn, with assists from Jackson Lacombe and Leo Carlson, which it was a great. It was nice actually seeing Lacombe as one of the power play quarterbacks. It wasn't something I was expecting, but I've kind of liked him there. So I still think I'd rather have Minty or Zellweger, but Lacombe isn't a bad third choice. I'd rather have him over Fowler at this point. So it was a nice little tip goal from Alex Killorn. And then actually, let's see, about 6 minutes later, Kyler Yamamoto tied the game up with a tip-in shot. There was assists from Josh Doan and Bertuzzo. So after one period, we had a 1-1 game. In the second period, this was just another beautiful play, a nice little tic-tac-toe play. Brock McGinn had a tip-in goal with assists from Nathan Gauthier and Radko Gudas. Just that pass from Gauthier was just a beautiful little play. Brock McGinn just skated through the middle and no one picked him up, and Gauthier just hit him right there, and he just one little nice little slap tip in. It was just a beautiful play. In the third period, Cutter Gauthier scored his first preseason goal with assists from Leo Carlson and Cam Fowler to make it 3-1 Anaheim. It was a nice little slap shot from Cutter himself. For the fourth goal, Robbie Fabry scored his first goal as an Anaheim Duck with assist from Tristan Luneau. That was another tip-in goal. So it's nice to see that the Ducks are finally getting tip-in goals, because I feel like the last couple of years we've really lacked in those kind of dirty goals like those tip-ins. Former Duck Andrew Agazzino, who's now playing for the Utah Hockey Club, scored his first goal of the preseason to make it 4-2. And then, sure enough, Leo Carlson adds another point to this game with assists from Alex Killorn and Nikita Nesterenko. I have a feeling Cutter and Leo are going to be the Getzlaf Perry 2.0 for the Ducks, and I'm very excited about these two players. I really am. Nesterenko has looked actually really good this preseason. I still think he's better off playing in San Diego, because he's just going to get a lot more playing time there. But like I said, great all-around game. A lot better on the face-offs. We actually won the face-off percentage this game. The Ducks won 54.5% from the face-off. So thank God for that. The power play, Ducks were 1 for 1 on the power play, and they were 3 for 3 on the penalty kills. So they killed all 3 power plays for the Utah Jazz. We out-hit them. We had the most blocked shots. So like I said, great all-around game. It was very, very fun to watch this game. Loved the home uniforms. They looked just gorgeous on the ice. Loved the whole orange thing. I thought it was going to be a lot, but honestly, I really like this look. So that was the game on, I believe, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Last night, we had the Ducks play in San Jose, and the Ducks won this game 3-2 in a shootout. This was a fun game to watch, too. Ducks outshot the Sharks 42-25. We had no goals in the first period, so like I said, great all-around game to start. But in the second period, Klim Kostin started the scoring for the San Jose Sharks with a power play goal, assist from Will Smith and Jake Wallman. And then, sure enough, about 7 minutes later, Frank Vetrano got his first of the preseason. And it was just a great play from Troy Terry. Frank Vetrano was just all alone on the right side, and Terry sweated it right over, passed it right over to him, wide open, and he just wrist shot it right in. Beautiful play with assist from Troy Terry and Brian Dumoulin. And then again, Cutter Gauthier in the third period to take the lead to 2-1. Once again, Cutter and Carlson. I think we're going to be hearing those two names on the same play a lot this for years. And it was just great. It's great to see this. That was another just great play, great pass from Carlson. And then Henry Thrun, former Anaheim Ducks draft pick, who we traded to San Jose, tied it up to make it 2-2 late in the third. and we end up having to go to overtime. It was a great overtime. It was great seeing it. Ducks had their chances. So did San Jose. Like, it's usually typical. This one actually had a lot more action than I've normally seen in an overtime. So that was great to see. But we ended up going no goals in the overtime, so we had to go to a shootout. And I believe the Sharks elected to shoot second in the shootout because they were the home team. So Trevor Zegras went first for the Ducks, and he got denied by Vanacek. Will Smith was the first one to go for the San Jose Sharks, and he got denied by Lukasz Dostwal. And then Troy Terry had the second one. He also got denied. And then Goshkin went second for the San Jose Sharks, and he also was denied. And then, sure enough, Cutter Gauthier comes up big to score the first goal and the only goal of the shootout. And then Dostwal shut down Zetterlund on the last one, and the Ducks win the shootout and take the game 3-2. Like I said, the Ducks are finally, I think someone's listening to the podcast because all of a sudden, boom, now we're winning the faceoff percentage. So the Ducks won the faceoff percentage 56.3%. That's how many times they won. So they're doing a lot better. The only thing is now the Ducks need to get better at getting more penalties drawn. Last two games, they have only drawn 2 penalties in 2 games. They were 0 for 1 this game, but they're giving up too many penalties. And I believe there was another Ryan Strome penalty, I believe, in the offensive zone in this game. Or it was either this game or the Kings game. It was one of the two. And I'm tired of these offensive zone penalties that we're taking. We should not be taking penalties in our own offensive zone. So that is it for right now until we talk about the Ducks and Kings game. So on to you, Dad.
Well,
Or Eric, you have anything about the games?
Eric has struggled to get back in.
No,
He's
this
been
last
in and out a couple times.
Yeah.
Great.
Hopefully he comes back in quick.
Okay.
Not always easy to do when you're not at your home computer, and he's in Los Angeles on business.
Yeah.
Today,
Yeah,
and I think he's going off his phone, so that's not an easy thing to be able to do. So hopefully he can come back in quick. But
Yeah.
let's go over Thursday's game. This is in Quebec City. So it was the Bruins and the Kings, which hardly ever meet in the preseason. Yeah, basically you're playing, mostly Pacific Division teams because it's just simpler on travel and so forth. So the Kings and the Bruins, 2 of the top defensive teams in hockey last year, playing against each other. And the first period, I guess Eric's popping back in. Yay, Eric. So in the first period, it was just back and forth. A few minor scoring chances in this game, but no score after 1 period. But the Kings outshot the Boston Bruins 11-2 in the first period with no scoring. Then we go to the second period, and pretty much for about 8 minutes, we had the same thing. I mean, nothing happening. All of a sudden, Byfield scores from Fiala and Brant Clark. So it's a 1-0 score. The official time was at exactly the 12-minute mark. 25 seconds later, who was it that scored again? Quentin Byfield from Joel Edmondson and Kevin Fiala. So in 25 seconds, all of a sudden, it's 2-0 Kings. 10 seconds later, Patrick Brown scores for the Bruins from Zadorov and Carlo. And we have a 2-1 game, and that ended the third period. So it's 2-1 Kings. And after 2 periods, the Kings had 17 shots, and the Boston Bruins had 6 shots. That's it. Go to the third period. Third period starts. Kings are down a man. But who's killing the penalty? part of the A team. If you don't know who that is, it's Adrian Kempe, Anze Kopitar, and Alex Ferrier. They're the A team. Well, two parts of the A team were killing a penalty, got the puck. Kempe fed Kopitar. He scores the shorthander. This is at 4:51 of the third, and the Kings are up 3-1. So 3 minutes and 8 seconds later, on the power play, who scores? Quentin Byfield, his third of the game from Philip Deneau and Trevor Moore. That would be the end of the scoring for the game, and the Kings win 4-1. The Kings outshot the Bruins 26-14. The Kings were 1 for 3 on the power play. The Bruins were 0 for 3. Each team had 13 penalty minutes. There is limited, because it was in Quebec City, limited other information like on faceoffs and so forth. So don't have all that information on this game. But, I mean, it's kind of exciting to see Quentin Byfield. It looks like moving to center hasn't affected him at all. And 3 goals against one of the best defensive teams in hockey. And the only guy missing, seriously, I mean, other than Swayman, was Marchment. Marchment wasn't there. But they had everybody else. I mean, Pasternak was there. Charlie Coyle's there. Their defensive core was there. And the Kings beat the Bruins 4-1. And to me, it's like, man, if they can do that to the Bruins, who else can they do that to? If this is the first game where they pretty much played most everybody that's probably going to start for them on a regular basis. So I was excited about that game.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you should ask that one. When it first happened, I thought they kind of maybe overspent for him a little bit. But from what I've been seeing is the logic behind it is to have him kind of tutor Brant Clark on how to be a better defensive defenseman, because we already know that the best offensive defenseman today is Brant Clark on that team. I mean, he's a better offensive player than even Drew Doughty. I think even Drew Doughty would admit that. But this guy is going to be a steadying influence for Clark, and really more than ever needed with Doughty out. Because you talk about opportunity. Opportunity happens with injury. Clark, Spence, Jeff Burrows. We thought that was just a throwaway to get somebody for Grundstrom. And I think Jeff Burrows is going to play an integral part on defense for the Kings until Doughty gets back. So I'm more happy now than I was when I first heard it, Eric. Well, in just case you know, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so they're talking that, and I think actually Hiller said it. He's wanting Mikey Anderson to start taking his shot a little bit more, because what he was doing is allowing Doughty to be as offensive as he could be, because he would go back. He's their most steady defensive defenseman is Mikey Anderson, and it'd be interesting. He hit the post on Thursday night. I could hear the ring. I was listening to the game. You could hear it. You know, that clear booming. I go, you know, goalkeeper's best friend is those posts and that crossbar. So, I really am starting to like the Edmondson pickup more than ever, and even Tanner Janot, and Warren Fogle have. I mean, it's chemistry is what I could say. I mean, we all look back. You know, Eric, you know, you guys are younger than I am, but I look back at the '88 World Series. Somehow the Dodgers made it. They were not nearly as good as any other teams in the playoffs, but they went in and because of their chemistry, walked all over the Oakland A's, who were favored by a lot to win that World Series. And so team chemistry can overcome talent, because you can't tell me we can look at this Kings team and think, wow, they're more talented than the Edmonton Oilers or the Vancouver Canucks or the Vegas Golden Knights, maybe even the Seattle Kraken. I mean, but chemistry, I think people don't realize how much that means in a team sport like that. So I know my hopes are getting up a little bit from what I'm seeing, is that they're meshing so well together. It's more than I expected, because I honestly would have not picked them to be a playoff team this year. And I'm starting to change my mind a little bit now. And I'm just being honest. Well, Eric, you forget about the line three is Byfield, Fiala, and Fogle. As right now, I mean, they might be 2B instead of 3, because Deneau, Moore, and the law firm of Deneau, and Moore. I think I said that last week, and it just makes me think about a law firm every time I say it.
I want to say it was like 2 weeks ago you did say it.
Well, so you have the A team first line, you have the law group, and then you have, I don't know, what do you the BFF, Byfield, Fogle, and Fiala. Oh, I got 3 names for the 3 lines now. I'm going to tell you, the one that would scare me the most is line 3. Line 3 scares me more than anybody.
That's the Fiala line.
Right now, I by the end of the year, what the Kings want is Byfield line will be the first line. Whoever plays with him, they want him to supplant Kopitar. That is the goal. That's what the team wants. Because if that happens, they're gonna be going at least maybe to the second round if everybody else plays up to par. But those are a lot of ifs when it comes to anything in life. A lot of ifs there. But if Byfield becomes the superstar they think he can become, Kopitar stays where he's at, everybody else plays where their potential, or at least close to their basic potential line is, they'll make it to the second round. I don't think they're good enough to win yet, but I think they're at least good enough to go that far if all those things come true. So, but we're going to get into predictions here.
We have the. I still want Eric to see if he has any comments about the other 2 Ducks games before we get into the Ducks Kings game. Because we can.
Oh, we did, yeah.
Agreed. And this is my honest opinion. Like, Fabry's actually looked pretty good in my opinion. The player that we got from Detroit, but Brian Dumoulin, he's looked, I think, honestly, been one of the best defenders I've seen in the preseason. Like that, of all the newcomers, he just looks so calm and poised out there. He's, not rushing. He's not really making mistakes, and his defense has been pretty well, in my opinion, too. So I feel like he can be a number 1. I could see him being a top 4 for the Ducks. I thought he was going to be a bottom pairing, but the way he's been playing in this preseason, I'm like, I might have him on the first or second line. Oh yeah.
Well, I think the interesting things, to be honest, about the Ducks is they're not selling the farm to try to get better quick. I mean, They did try to get better. They put off offers to Stamkos and Marchessault.
And Montour.
And then
And Montour. Brandon Montour?
But I'm talking about where were they desperate? They really need some scoring. Really need scoring. Montour's a good defender, and he's a good offensive defenseman. But I'm talking about the guys that are putting the puck in the net regularly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they decided to both go to Nashville instead. But that wouldn't have been anything that cost them an arm and a leg to get those 2 players. It just didn't work this season. and they have a plan. I do believe Verbeek has a plan. And I got to say, all you Duck fans should be going, wait, is going to happen in 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. Stanley Cup could be there. I mean, they got a lot of young talent, and then you talk about toughness. The Stan's waiting in the wings. Dang, you don't go and just mouth off to Radko Gudas in the World Championships
As
and
an
not think that
18-year-old.
you're going to pay a price for that. And he did it without being afraid. So, I mean, and we went to the flock party. I was totally impressed with him. I mean, and I know, well, you have to get through the Kings.
Not 2 to 3. In my opinion, I would see like
maybe 5 years.
4 to 5. I could see like 5 for sure. Like they're going to be Stanley Cup contenders. I would say 3 to 4 for sure playoffs. 2, wild card. Like the bubble team. Like this, I would say this year, next year. Like as long as they're getting better each year, that's what I want. Like this year, I just don't want us to be as bad as last year. Like fix the penalty taking from last year. I mean, I know you really can't control this part, but be healthier. We had way too many injuries last year for the Ducks. We lost, especially to our top players.
Must be the water. It must be the water in Anaheim.
Yeah, seriously, we should.
Because the Angels can't keep anybody on the field either.
But that's for sure. But like I said, I would say like this year, next year, I would say like be like not bottom end team, but like in the I would say draft wise, I want us to be within like the 8 to 15 range. I don't want us to be a lottery team, lottery team anymore. I don't want to be that anymore.
Well,
so as long as we're getting better these next 2 years, that's all that I really care about is like, just don't be a bottom 3 team. Don't be a bottom 5 team. I want us to be better than that. Be better each year.
So if everything went right for the Ducks, they could be a wild card. They could be. Yeah. I'm not saying they're going to be, but if everything went right, Gauthier comes out and is like the next McDavid. I mean, not maybe McDavid, but like that, scoring goals, playing like a NHL or not a kid. He's a kid still. But if all those things fall together, because I'll go back to 2012. Who in the hell thought the Kings would dominate the playoffs in 2012? There wasn't one person, except for maybe Daryl Sutter, that thought they could do that. So you can't tell me that we can just look at who the players are and go, this team isn't going to make it. I mean, if they pull it together, it's one thing about sports. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night. And if you get on a streak, look out. The Dodgers in '88 proved it. The Kings in 2012 proved it. I'm sure other teams. I can remember when the Supersonics won the NBA championship. Nobody thought they were going to ever win anything. So you can hope all you want, sir.
All right. So we still need to talk about the Ducks Kings game. So let's get into that before we start.
I forgot about that.
Until we start getting into a 3-hour podcast. Because remember, I'm the one that still has to edit and do all the work on this. So, all right, Dad, since you had majority of the stuff, I'll let you start off the Ducks Kings game.
Well,
pretty much. I mean, I have some stuff written down that I saw, and it's more my rant and everything. So I'll let you go first, Dad.
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't think we had like fully strength both either team. So it wasn't like the Bruin game. That one was encouraging to me because both teams were playing pretty much the best they had. In this game, it wasn't, but yet it was pretty much, I think, dominated by the Kings. Tanner Jeannot led the scoring from Moverari and Thomas. I mean, Moverari's he's going to be in Ontario playing, but that first period, it was just 1-0 after one. And then in the second period, we had Gavrikov scoring from Fiala and Fogle. Two parts of the BFF line. And then Akil Thomas scored from Philippe Deneau and part of the law firm of Deneau and Jeannot, just missing more. So, and then the third period, Quentin Byfield scored from Studnicka and Spence. I mean, Studnicka, he could be maybe on the NHL. I think he's going to start in Ontario. I think was it Riddick? I think Riddick played, right? Was Riddick?
No, this was Kemper.
And was this Kemper? Oh yeah,
this was Kemper.
He did have the shutout. That's right. So Kemper had the shutout. It was Riddick against the Bruins.
Yeah.
So and Kemper, he made some great plays. There were some plays. The Ducks made some good plays.
Yeah, and honestly, Kemper was definitely in the first. I would say first period for sure. Kemper was the reason why you guys were it stayed 0 goals in that first period.
And I think the first period was probably the Ducks' best period.
It was hands down. And yeah. Kemper made some great saves and stuff like that. So
was there not a breakaway?
I think there was 1 or 2 breakaways, and then there was one where he came over from his right to his left and just made a great glove save. And I'm just like, oh man, like I was like, that was just like the play couldn't have been any better. Kemper it was a great shot, better save situation.
It was, and it wasn't like, I mean, the scoring was 4-0, but it wasn't like the Kings were just blowing shots at them and the Ducks didn't have anything. The shot totals were 25-23.
Yeah.
Now, one thing the Ducks do need to work on, and I know you agree, Cody, and I'm sure, Eric, you'd probably agree, they need to work on faceoffs. I mean, it was 56.3% to 43.8%. They need to get that. I mean, if you're going to lose, you lose at 48, 49%. And you got to have good face-off, especially when you're doing a penalty kill. If you can't win it in your zone, they're gonna pepper your poor goalie.
Agreed.
And those long quick shots off a win are ones that usually go in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there was nothing on the power play. Neither team gave up a power play goal. The Kings were 0 for 2. The Ducks were 0 for 4. But it was only 4 penalty minutes, Cody.
I know, it's a miracle.
The Ducks only had 4 penalty minutes. And I mean, the Kings they're playing a more bruising game. The Kings had 8 minutes, so it wasn't like it was a penalty-filled game. The hits were not even that far off. The Kings did out-hit them 24-19, so the Ducks were hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Block shots were the Ducks won the block shots 15-14.
Well, I would say I think between this game and then the game from last Saturday versus the Ducks and Kings, I feel like the Ducks all around played a better game this game. Just nothing went into the net, and unfortunately we let in more goals this game. But and Oscar Dansk he seemed like he was a little lost out there during some plays, but yeah. I'm not blaming him for the loss. The Kings were just a better all-around team both games too, but I feel like the Ducks did play a better game this time.
Well, the one thing that the Ducks were bad at was giveaways.
They gave up. Trust me, I'm going to get into that.
Yeah, they gave away 20. The Kings only gave up 10. But like I said, I mean, the Ducks are working to get where the Kings are right now, and hopefully they're going to probably get there in a year or 2.
Yeah,
maybe 3. And hopefully the Kings will be in the Stanley Cup. Percentage of top 5 teams maybe in 2 or 3 years. I don't know. Maybe that's never going to happen again. But
keep dreaming.
Well, you could. When's the last time you guys played there? Oh, okay. So 17 years ago.
Just remember who was the first. Just remember who was the first to bring it to California.
Yeah, we won
But,
2 in 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well.
Well, you were rubbing it in at the start, so I gotta give you back.
All right. If you're done, I want to get into my little rant about this game.
Okay.
So, the 2 games against the Kings, I don't know what the hell is wrong with the Ducks with their passing. Like, it's like they couldn't make just a simple passing plays. It would either like they just didn't know where the player was going to be. They passed it just way off. The pass was like way off. Like they couldn't handle passes. They tried to do a hard pass, ended up being like more like a change up. I don't know what it is, but like literally, like, it would be a perfect pass, and the guy receiving it couldn't handle it. Almost every time it felt like. And honestly, and I know this is gonna be kind of funny, but I feel like the Ducks, their next time they play, before maybe it's just when they play against really good defensive teams, because that's what it seemed like what was going on. Because when they played against Utah and San Jose, the passing was a lot better. So maybe before they play a better defensive team, I think just instead of watching film, they just need to rewatch that one scene from the original Mighty Ducks movie with Gordon Bombay teaching the little kids to with the egg, to pass the egg and receive the egg, because that's the only. I feel like the Ducks didn't know how to even receive a pass those 2 games, and I can see you trying to. You want to laugh, Dad. I can see, but I mean, you watched it. They couldn't handle any passes.
Pick up the trash.
Oh no, we're not talking about that horrible movie. I mean, it was a great movie. It was a good movie, but definitely the worst of the 3. But anyways, another thing, I don't know what it was with the last 2 games against the Kings. Like every time they would do like that little layoff pass where, like they would come up and then they would pass it backwards and let someone else come with speed with the puck. I feel like every time they did that, it wasn't going to anyone or nobody was there. And I felt like a Kings player like at any second was just gonna be like, oh, I can get that. It seemed either too predictable or they didn't time it right. And I just felt like a Kings player was literally going to swoop in and get a breakaway almost every time they did it. And it scared me. Every time they did it, I'm like, I would like clench. I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. That one. And then my biggest one is, it wasn't the San Jose game. It was the Kings game. Ryan Strome. Stop taking damn penalties in the offensive zone. There's no reason you should be taking penalties in the offensive zone. And was it last 2 to 3 games he played offensive zone penalties, and luckily this one didn't lead to a goal, but we should not. And he killed us last year too. He did that a lot. Every time we got a power play, almost right away into that power play, he would take a penalty in the offensive zone. And now our power play is gone, and now we're on a 4v4. And I feel like it was a lot last year. It is now happening in the preseason. We need to clean the penalties up like that. I don't mind taking the necessary penalty in the defensive zone. Yes, we need to take less, but we don't need to take them in the offensive zone, Strome. Okay? Just like I said, that's what bugged me the most that game, was just the passing and Ryan Strome taking that stupid penalty.
At least you're off for Toronto for an episode.
Yeah. Well, I think he took a penalty, but I think it was like a defensive zone, and I think it was a good one. I think it was like a tripping in the defensive zone. I was like, all right, I can handle that. But Strome in the offensive zone, oh god, that's going to be a
penalty shot.
Yeah, God.
But Toronto taking off the net, penalty shot.
Honestly, and that worked out for us. So Dostwall came up big for us.
So you done throwing your fit on your birthday?
Yes, for now.
Yeah. The knock on the door is Ryan Strome. Hey, are you guys talking crap about me?
It's the other quacky guy on the podcast.
Oh, Eric? Eric might have to talk to him. You never know.
Well, if you do talk to him, you didn't hear it from me. Okay.
So do we?
I mean, I do like Stroma as a player. I do. But I'm just saying, just stop with those penalties. That's it.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Royally Quacked. We hope you enjoyed the discussion and found it valuable. Before we go, I want to take a moment again to apologize for the technical issues we experienced earlier. We appreciate your understanding and patience. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media channels. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Royally Quacked. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and a rating on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us out and lets us know what you think. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on Royally Quacked.
A father and son, a bond so strong, talking hockey all day long. Royally Quacked, their podcast show, sharing stories, highs and lows. From the Kings to the Ducks they go. Shout and go Kings, go! Quack, quack, they cheer. A father and son, their passion sincere on the ice. Their love appears through the highs and lows in the years. The legends of Gretzky, Salaries, grace, passing on history in every case. Father teaching son, a legacy shared. On Royally Quacked, their stories end. Face off in life, together they stand. Shout and go Kings, go! Quack, quack, they cheer. A father and son, their passion sincere on the ice. Their love appears through the highs and lows and the years. Like the legends of Gretzky, Salaries, grace, passing on history in every case. Father teaching son, a legacy shared. On Royally Quacked, their stories end. Face off in life, together they stand. Shout and go Ducks, go! Go Kings, go! A father and son, watching the show. Through wins and losses, their spirits grow. On Royally Quacked, they steal the show.